I'll tell you, sometimes people had to accept that proposal of harassment because they had to kind of survive in the company.
Otherwise, you're kicked out.
Yes.
You'll be fired. I mean,
Yes.
it was
in,
very
in a
simple
very
at that
nice
point of
way.
time. Exactly.
Yeah. If somebody is from a privileged background, I've noticed somebody, your approach towards that person is totally different, and your approach towards somebody else is different. And I wanted to bring the uniform approach to everybody, irrespective of what background they come from. Okay, like, be optimistic, and sometimes if you fail, it is good. It could be for a reason. You might fail because you have to learn something different. It's not because your efforts were wrong. You have something more to do.
Hi everyone, welcome to Inspiring the Future. Today we have with us someone who speaks 6 languages, born and brought up in Bangalore, and has been in the HR for about 17 years and plus now. So I'm going to hand it over to Divya Gunashekar today and let her give her introduction herself.
All right. Hello everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for having this comfort zone for me and calling me for this show. And my name is Divya, and born and brought up in Bangalore. Yes, I'm comfortable with 6 languages, but jack of all, master of none. Okay, because it's kind of corrupted, languages sometimes, because Kannada mixing with your Tamil and Tamil mixing with other languages. So that's what it is, and. I am somebody with 15 plus of years of experience into HR, and I'm a mom of 2 kids, and I spend available time with my family. And hobby wise, I don't have much to tell because my most of the time is taken away by my family people, and I'm a little interested person into gardening and things like that. Yes, a quick intro about me.
Perfect, amazing. Yeah. And I think this is not the only thing. There's a lot more to learn about Divya today. So let's get into it and talk about your journey so far. Right. If we speak about your journey to becoming what you are today, not just professionally, I would say even personally, if you were to talk about 3 events that kind of shaped the person that you are today, what would they be?
So, first thing is my childhood days. Okay, there was a lot of ups and downs during my childhood days, which has really given me a lot of lessons learned, and it was one thing I'll talk about it. And the second thing is again my early career stage. Okay, I again had a lot of ups and downs, which gave me a lot of lessons learned in the professional side of it, career side of it. And the third thing is my motherhood again. So a lot of things I learned, and that has again given a better shape to what I am today. So to go in detail, childhood days. So we are 4 siblings, and we were all in our comfort zones. And at some point, we had to we were forced to take a deviation from what the comfort zone that we had, and it became a little tough to pursue with a good educational lifestyle, good society that we had to kind of overcome. And I lost my father in the early stage, and that became a challenging one to my mom and for me to run the family. So that was the initial stage where we thought that something is not right. And I had completed my second PUC, okay, and at least I was there, and my other younger ones were still in the educational side of it, where they still had not stepped out of that fundamental educational background, right? So that's when I kind of had to help my mom, who was never out from our homemaker life, right? Then I had to choose something, and I stepped out, and that was my time to grab an offer. I had my several interviews for a very small position at those days when I was 17, and somewhere I was like offered something, and they said, okay, you're all good, but we can't offer you because you're not yet 18. I was like, yes, it becomes a child labor, so that was the time I had to again push back and see what the tough times that I had, and somehow I got into the career life of it. And then 5 years, it was very tough for me to kind of cope up with the career world, because lot of struggles, because more than the success stories that I have seen, lot of struggles is something that I want to highlight, where I had a chance to overcome, I had strength to overcome that. Sometimes it could be your harassment in workplace, sometimes it could be the dominating days that you had to overcome, and sometimes some senior people treating you in a disrespectful way because you are in that junior position. So these are the things that was running in my mind, and I thought, why like this? Because whatever the position that you are in a company, every position has its own essence, its own need, its own value, right? Why people are not treating you in the same way that they treat somebody else who are in a bigger position? So that thing came into my mind, and with the lessons, by then I had learned a lot in my childhood, and then these things and all somewhere grounded me that I have to be in a leadership position in future, and that should be in HR, okay, where I am in that position where I treat everybody unique and neutral. So that grounded, and I never knew that the dream will come true like today I am. And then parenting, after 10 years of my professional career that I achieved, then parenting also taught me. I was very kind of quick in reacting to something, and my patience was very less, okay. And yes, so as a mom I learned, okay, you have to have more polite, calm way of approach.
It can work both ways, that parenting
Yes,
aspect. And they
yes.
can really touch that last nerve of yours also, and they can teach you the patience that you've never thought you will have. So-
Yes, and planning, because when you are just alone, or when you are with your partner, many things can just go even if you have not planned. But when you start that parenting and things like that, you have to plan everything. You can't just take your kids out and say, okay, we have come out for an outing. You have to make sure you pack the belongings that you need mandatorily.
Yeah.
So these three things, in short, I would say my childhood and the early career life of mine and the parenting has given me a lot of learnings which has shaped my life to what I am today.
Amazing. I think that's great. I want to talk a little bit more about where you spoke about initially the struggles that you had in the career, and for which reason, I mean, you've become what you are today, the HR, the position that you are, and like we spoke earlier, also bringing the change about in the perspective of being an HR and what HR stands for. I think you worked for last 15 plus years to kind of bring that change in. So, has it been an easy task to bring that change in about, because the kind of people that you would be dealing with, I would, for example, the talents that you would be acquiring for a certain company, and the employers who you would be dealing with, it's a like gap that you need to bridge between both of them, right?
Yeah.
So, how was that journey for you? How was that bridging that gap aspect for you?
Well, so it was not easy. Okay, to one word answer, it was not easy. So to connect again, see, my early career, there were a lot of times that the discrimination happened, right? And also, if somebody is from a privileged background, I've noticed somebody, your approach towards that person is totally different, and your approach towards somebody else is different. And I wanted to bring the uniform approach to everybody, irrespective of what background they come from, okay. And I thought it is important because many companies do appreciate and many companies have that system, but where I have been in the past, somewhere I found that people's approach towards different people were different. That's when I thought that you need to bring that uniformity, right? And in my early career also, we had some issues. I have faced a lot of issues where harassment was one of the thing that I was not able to voice it out, okay. We did not have that platform. Today we have POSH committee. Today we have lot of emphasis that we put for the POSH, and we train people about how do you take care, what are the proactive things that you need to address and all. But at my career stage, we did not have too much of importance given to POSH. So we had to.
I think it wasn't even in existence at
not
that point
even
of time.
existence, yes,
And
yes.
it was not something to be addressed. Also,
it was not a norm. It was not a standard policy that some companies used to follow, right? So those were the times, and I was having that courage and strength to overcome that. But I have also witnessed many of my colleagues or many of my friends who had to kind of admit that because of various reasons. So not in detail, but I'll tell you, sometimes people had to accept that proposal of harassment because they had to kind of survive in the company.
Otherwise, you kicked out.
Yes.
you'll be fired. I mean, it
Yes,
was very
in a
simple
very
at that
nice
point of
way.
time. Exactly.
Yeah. And also, I have witnessed some of the individuals who had to kind of admit it, if not your promotions and things, though you have your potential, they had to somewhere open the doors of acceptance. But
Yeah.
I don't tell that that was a right way, definitely, because they had a lot of opportunities that they could have said no in a different form. So
Yeah.
you had to say no. But again, there are people who have seen growth because of good reason, bad reason. But collectively, for me, what I thought is, I have seen an audience who have kind of adjusted to the environment. I have seen audience who have not got adjusted but still shined out, and I belong to that, where I had to face the people and tell them, okay, we kind of have to emphasize on your potentials. And some major people have come out of it, and they're shining well in the potentials. Okay, so HR, when I talk about okay, when we talk about different generation and generation gaps, I definitely have seen a lot of changes that is advanced. As your technology is evolving, even the individual mind is also evolving. People chose to be on a comfort zone, and be it my life that I started, or any other individuals, and my interviewing life that I've seen, people used to come and look for the opportunity where they think that, okay, I have started something as a step, and you have a long goal that you have to achieve. That was there, and people were ready to accept the challenge where it is thinking out of the box and proving your potentials.
Right.
That was the mindset. But now the mindset is totally kind of shift to a comfort zone,
Yeah.
where people want everything. Now sometimes I have started to sell that you have your coffee tea, you have your pantry set up, you have your Friday fun
That's what you're
activities.
selling.
Yeah, we are selling the opportunity. The opportunity is somewhere behind the scene, and we have to sell the opportunity. The competitive world is evolved, I
Yeah.
understand, but this generations are kind of asking, what's my work from home number of work from
Yeah.
homes that I can get, what's the capacity that I can get, what's the rewards and recognition models that you
And that's
have.
why I spoke about that bridge aspect, right? Because the employers are still not willing to open that gate. Many of them are not ready to open that gate of working from home or remote working, and giving that flexible hours and things like that is not. It's still not a concept with the employers.
As a standard,
Whereas,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
whereas the people who want to be hired are very clear about how they want the
They want
environment to be.
I think change is constant, and employers need to understand and draw a concrete plan where they can accommodate few things. I'm not telling we have to accommodate everything. At least in my past 10 years, I've made sure that the life at office is going to be a difference that I can sell about, because anybody can give you an opportunity, anybody can give you a role and tell this is the CTC. All that I'm trying to do is how HRs can make sure that your growth, the transparent communication, the future dreams that you have, how you can envision your future. So these are the things that I'm trying to kind of, in my daily go, talking to the leaders and building your policies and everything. I make sure that there's a touch that talks about the transparency, the culture, the voice out that you can do when you're enough talented and all. So many things comes into my agenda as an HR, and that's what I train my core HR team that, okay.
So if you speak to the leaders directly, and if you were to, ask them three major things that they are supposed to have in a work environment today to kind of make it easier for you to hire a good candidate, what would you tell them, and what would those three things be?
Open door policy. Okay, many company talk about it, but we don't execute it. We don't show it in actions. Okay, open door policy, the transparency, and the growth visibility. Okay, we should have a career ladder planned already to somebody who's coming and telling, okay, if you walk your first step, this is going to be your destiny. So you need to have a career ladder
And
follow that. And the third one would be the culture. Many people talk about what is your culture, what are your core values, and sometimes we start with the josh and somewhere we don't follow it because of various reasons. We should have a consistency to follow the culture, telling that what is our culture. We need to always be an ambassador to run that culture.
Wow, that's very true. I mean, all three I think are very major for anyone to sustain in an environment and have a healthy working environment, I think.
Yes.
Amazing. So coming back to you a little bit more, let's talk about you and continue on to your journey that we spoke about. the three amazing events that you spoke. I'm sure there's so many more. But so far, if you were to put it in a book and name it, what would it be?
I would call it as adventurous HR journey, because why I always want to emphasize this HR is, again, you are a game changer for many individuals, and if you do it right, I think you just have a job satisfaction that you were able to show the real world to individuals who were able to grab the right treasure. So I would call it as a adventurous HR journey.
So that's very true. We also spoke about earlier when we were talking. I think we talked about how so many people that you've come across in your life, and so many that you've inspired, and they've come back and been so grateful for the kind of mentoring that you've done for them. Just like that, do you have your inspiration as well? Somebody that you look up to?
I've got my inspiration, my energy from different individuals. But in my early career, I had few people who my leaders who always did their job out of the box. They just did not focus on something that okay, this is my job to you, you do it. They kind of went a little extra mile to tell me, this is why you have to do, this is why you have to think. So they made me think, they made me do different things. To give you one answer, my mom, okay. That is a common answer, maybe you might have heard, but my mom is an individual who had stepped into a parenting life in a very early age, and by 23-24 she was already a mom of 4 kids. She was somebody who kind of took the struggles in a positive way, and she fought the society, different struggles. When you're at 32-33, when you have lost a partner, you know how the society would have looked up to you. She was an inspiration for us even today. And
you have 4 daughters, am I right?
We have 4 daughters, and we never went to any tuitions.
Yeah.
She was our teacher in home, and she taught us everything.
Wow.
She learned Hindi. She never had an opportunity to learn Hindi. She was from Mandya, Mysore, the other part of Karnataka. So she never knew Hindi, right? So when we had Hindi in our academics, she learned it along with us. Okay, and she used to teach us, and she learned it along with us, and maths or beat science or social. So she was our guru, and even in our college days also, she was the one who used to help us learn. So my mom is my biggest inspiration, and after that there are several individuals in my life who have inspired me in different actions, different stories that they talk about the real life and all. Beautiful. So there are a huge people.
Beautiful. I think that's really beautiful, because like you said, and I'm really sorry about your father as well, it would have been a struggle for her as well to kind of raise 4 daughters, especially at the time that it was not anymore.
Yeah.
But that whole concept of only it's a ladki hai and all that is going to be such a big deal, right?
Yes,
it always has been. So
right.
Coming back to your XYZ fact, if you were to talk about one thing like a superpower that people who know you rely on you for, what would that be?
My superpower is believe in yourself and be vocal about what you want in a nice way. Be more empathetic and be positive. So optimistic approach for anything is the superpower, because I always believe, and I always tell people, it'll happen, don't worry, work for it. Okay, put your efforts, it'll happen. Many a times people come, oh, it's not happening, yaar, I don't think it'll happen. So I always throw them that one thought in their mind: believe in your efforts, and also effort should be something smart and right. You cannot run towards the west and try to get a destination of your east, right? Believe in your efforts, be optimistic, and be vocal and be more empathetic, and respect yourself and respect your audience or others in your world. Things will fall in place. Things will definitely fall in place.
So coming to why factor, of course, I mean, I want to address the X as well while I question you with the why. So what is the reason for, you being so motivational, so positive, and the outlook, of course, being in an HR, I think that's a very major characteristic that you need to hold. But what keeps you going and doing what you do?
The success stories of my own projects that I pick. The more I am positive, the more I have my confidence toward myself and what I am doing. As always, I have always seen the results. The result is always a positive side. So that's why I tell people that this is why you have to, everything that you do, when you know the results have come, when you know the win-win is happening, continue doing that. Like, be optimistic. And sometimes if you fail, it is good. It could be for a reason. You might fail because you have to learn something different. It's not because your efforts were wrong. You have something more to do. So with this small win-wins that you have seen in the past, and that drives me that yes, all my past has given me the good result. Maybe some would have taken some extra time, some might have taken some extra efforts, and I might have put down myself, okay, it's not happening. I might have had my bad days, but when I see back that the josh that I had when I started something, be it your job, with your small day-to-day life, whatever, when I see the result that has happened the way you envisioned, that drives me that okay, continue doing that, continue doing that.
And your Z factor, so you talked about the bad days, so I want to touch base on that. So when bad days do happen, so how do you pick yourself up? And
Bad days do happen. Give it time. Time will heal everything. Give it some time, and do not go to an extreme that this is the end.
so what do you usually do to pick yourself up?
I go and vent it out, because if I keep it in my mind, it has its 2x 3x of multiplication that will happen. So I find my right companion, be it my peer, be it my friend, or anybody that I could trust and rely upon, and I go and kind of vomit everything, like this happened. I kind of vent out everything so that I feel light, and it doesn't goes into my subconscious mind. They also kind of sometimes give a solution if they have, or they make fun out of it if they have to, so that I kind of chill out, and then I'll wait for the right time, and my next day will become a miraculous one where some magic would have happened, my problems would have gone, because I gave that time. So the bad days, you have to wait for it, learn. If you have you have to you have to be genuine to yourself. Don't show your attitude, don't put your ego in front of anybody. Talk to yourself that you really have to learn something, learn it, and don't keep it to yourself, because end of the day you're not a robot, you're a human, right? It could multiply in your mind. Talk to somebody, put it out.
Great.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to your HR experience. It's something that I think something that's running in my head, and I've been wanting to ask you as well. So there is a perception about HRs from an earlier time to till now, right? There's a certain way that we look at HR as an aspect, but of course HR now has become a vast thing. It's not just acquiring a talent and making sure you give out the paychecks and all that, right? There's so much more to it, of course, but still the perception towards an HR is something that is it's always been a certain way, and I think that will carry forward. So what are the 3 things that you really want to change about the perception that somebody holds about an HR?
Right. So yes, to majority of the world, corporate world, HR is somebody who runs your payroll, deducts the tax, and gives you an offer letter that this is your appointment letter, and you have issues, you just go and file a complaint. So this is what the HR is to the world. But I think there is something beyond that HR could serve the corporate world in terms of your psychology, understanding the people's world, connecting the bridge between different colors of people, and training and mentoring them. So HR these days are actually doing that. They do a lot of mindfulness sessions, they coach people, they do a strategic approach towards the business, understanding the past, and they kind of predict the future and connect the dots. It is everywhere you have your footprint into the business, and you try to connect by giving them mentorship, opportunity, giving them the platform of connecting with your different leaders. A lot of things these days HR is doing. So if I have to tell, I have already kind of started to do that, training people and giving them the visibility of your future, and kind of not pampering them too much with the automation world that you have. Still trying to give them some kind of an exercise there where they kind of think and do something more. So these days HR has become a strategic partner to the business,
Right.
I can say. We wanted to at least I can see a lot of people have their footprints in different verticals of the business, where they kind of connect the dots for the business with the human touch. Like, human touch can never be replaced by any AI, right? So no AI can replace that. So human touch in various forms is still needed, where we try to bridge that gap.
Amazing. Excellent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
great. I think we're very close to the end of our show. Of course, I think there's so much more, but we'll have to kind of close it here. But before we let you go, there's always one thing that I ask my guests, which is to give a growth hack to our listeners and viewers who can take this away and kind of make their dreams into reality.
Yeah, the growth hack is continue to dream, right? But that dream, you need to put efforts, and that efforts need to be a smart effort, right? These the generation that I'm seeing today, they want everything to happen in a hybrid way, a very shortcut way, like. And what is happening is you stop functioning in a creative way. Your brains are adapted to that technology way. Everything happens. Okay, you find something on Google, you have a shortcut to something, you just go there, and you don't allow your brain to think and have a roadmap. So dream about your goal and work it out. Have a blueprint in your mind. Consistency in your goal should be there, and learn out of your mistakes. Do not give up, because many a times when you can't achieve something, you just take a step back and you wanted to dream something different.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't achieve something. Okay, this is not my cup of tea, let me walk out towards. No, there is a way that you have to figure out. So have a consistency in your efforts and approach, and continue to dream, and allow your brain to have the creativity, just not by grabbing some shortcuts. Okay, I think that's your growth hacks.
Amazing. And just like I think you're an example to all of them. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for
Thank
being at
you.
Inspiring the Future podcast.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure having you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.